It is CHP now. They just took over it. Yeah, South LA Sheriff's started it. Yeah. Map is saying Torrance now. Okay. And he goes. Look at that. He could have pulled over right there, but nope. On the gas. Northbound 405. He's exiting. David, he's exiting. $20 seconds. Looks like he's going to set up for a right turn. Don't stop under the freeway. Well, Pedro and Cher, this started with the LA County Sheriff's South LA Division. You can see this white Audi that's going through traffic right now just exited the 405 freeway from the northbound side onto Artesia Boulevard with heavy traffic here. It is failing to yield. The original want on this was for driving under the influence, but the sheriffs tried to stop it on the 110 freeway southbound, and the car took off at 100 miles an hour in traffic, and they made that transition to the northbound 405 freeway. And now here we are on, we're looking at Prairie Avenue now, northbound, going away from Artesia Boulevard back underneath the 405 freeway. But again, this driver not yielding to the sheriffs, and now not yielding to the California Highway Patrol, who just took this pursuit over, and now, like I said, in heavy traffic here on Prairie Avenue. Yep. Redondo Beach Boulevard, and now it's going to be, I believe this is going to be eastbound. And you saw him run that red light there. He pushed his way through traffic. And now we'll see what the California Highway Patrol tries a pit maneuver. You know, they want to do that pit maneuver under 35 miles an hour, but there's so much traffic out here. And, you know, of course, people on the streets walking around. That's a dangerous situation. But right now, at this speed, they're not going to try it. Actually, yeah, go ahead. No, I was going to say, that's right, Pedro. You know, the officers that are pit qualified, and all CHP are qualified, they want to make sure that the public is safe as well as themselves. So higher speeds is not possible for the pit maneuver. It's very dangerous for the officers. But also, they don't want to send this car into oncoming traffic or into pedestrians at any point. But right now, at this speed, certainly they could do it. Well, unless he's completely stopped, they won't. But once he picks up anywhere from 0 to 35 miles an hour, that's open for a pit maneuver. And you see now what the driver's doing here, squeezing his way through some traffic that's backed up here. We're looking at Redondo Beach at Pacific Lane, and he's going to go into that turn pocket. We'll see if he turns or not. But right now, the CHP trying to weigh their options here as far as doing that pit maneuver, and they'll do it quickly if they have the opportunity and the conditions are right.
I do wonder what exactly happened, but we were on our way to this. We didn't hear anything of that. He might have gone over a curb or something. You can see this guy driving, you know, pretty desperately, pretty erratically. He was zigging and zagging out of lanes on the 405. I think at one point he was on the right-hand shoulder because he was stuck in some pretty heavy traffic. So, you know, it's pretty easy to imagine that he could have run over some debris or something on the right-hand shoulder that punctured the tire. But I haven't really heard the authorities talking much about that. So unclear if a spike strip was involved for sure, but definitely going to hamper their maneuverability a little bit.
Yeah, it seems that way. And again, this person was wanted for drunk driving or possible suspected of drunk driving. Certainly reckless driving.
Yes, that's right. So suspected DUI, and it's unclear, you know, what if they were just having trouble staying in a lane, or what made sheriffs so suspicious about that, or what the deal was. But now going into a parking lot here, so you can see CHP, they are really on this person like a hawk. And again, unclear how many people are in the vehicle. Once again, Pat, we're talking about a car with those really dark tinted windows, and so always a problem here for the authorities as they deal with this. So really slowing down now in this parking lot.
I was going to say.
We'll see if, well, we'll see if this is going to be it, or if this is just some kind of diversion.
And, you know, obviously now, this is interesting. And obviously now this is more than suspected of driving under the influence, because he has not stopped. So that certainly adds more to the charges that police want this person caught. But
yeah,
I still don't, you know what?
This is basically going to be a felony now.
Yeah, and he's driving rather slowly, almost as if he wants to stop. This is almost, this is pretty, yeah, his rear tire, from what we understand, Desmond, is totally out.
Yeah, I thought that it was the, I have to check again if it, we'll see if we can get on the right side of this vehicle, if it was the front or the rear tire, but definitely down at least one tire now at this point. And, you know, not sure if this vehicle is equipped with run flats or what the deal is, but it kind of seems like it's beginning to hamper. Yeah, look at that. Look at, there goes the rubber. It just fell off and rolled onto that lawn over there. So now he's probably going to be on a rim, and it did look like that came off of the rear tire, and it is beginning to show here with the maneuverability of this vehicle, where it was going, you know, pretty fast before, really having some trouble now.
Yep, and Desmond, if you can reiterate, this started with the Compton Sheriff's Department, and now the CHP picked it up. I guess they were on the 405 freeway, and even once they made the exit, they followed him on surface streets, and the CHP is in pursuit of this white Audi that appears to have lost a tire, and you know, goodness only knows when this person is going to stop. The car is going to actually stop running. Could be another tire that's just going to fall apart. We don't know exactly what happened to the first tire, why it was flat. It could have been from a spike strip. We don't know that for sure. But this person is now driving recklessly into traffic. Oh no, what is he? It's almost as if he was going to try to rear in that car in front of him, Desmond. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, he might be having some trouble slowing down the vehicle here, just maneuvering, but you can see there's a little bit of rubber kind of flipping around on the rear passenger side there, but it's almost down to the rim, so we might start to see some sparks here pretty soon as well. And I also see something, something might be hanging from the mirror. Well, I see something, it looks like on the front almost like it might be part of the mirror that's hanging off or something. Can't quite tell what it is, but this would be a pretty sporty SUV if he had 4 tires going right now, and he did seem to have some success at least getting away from the sheriff's deputies. Of course, that's a much different story when you are down a tire. Might be trying to, let's see, we're still on,
several
so we're on
units
Vermont
behind him.
Avenue.
But you see how he's slowing
Vermont
down?
Here you see, I really kind of random maneuvers. He was slowing down a lot earlier, and boy, is that front? Looks like that front windshield might be really fogged up there.
Well, that was
can't
my
even
next.
see through the front of that. So that's
No,
weird.
what is going on there? You don't think that's some material of some kind, do you? Because the rest of the windows
no,
don't seem to be fogged; they're just dark.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe he just needs to turn the defroster on or something, but it sure looked like he's not going to be able to see out the front window very well. That's for sure. As he just made the U-turn onto Vermont, so headed northbound here out of Gardena. You can see Vermont is one of these really wide boulevards where they've got some a defunct train line in the front. Now getting over towards the left-hand lane, hasn't been afraid to go up on curbs or anything to get away from the police, but
Well, that
you're
doesn't
already
help
down.
the car.
You're only down. Yeah, you're already down 1 tire. You've got this, really bright spotlight overhead from the sheriff's helicopter. I mean, really, what is the end game here?
And again, I don't know if that's like a defrosting situation there, because it really looks, it's pretty even. I'm just not exactly sure. Again, Desmond, because the rest of the windows don't seem to have a problem. They're just dark. But, there could be something, who knows what it is, and covering that windshield. But this driver has not stopped completely yet, and where he thinks he's going to go, we've seen these situations before. What do you think CHP, CHP has maybe a number of things they can do. These over 35 miles per hour now, so they probably wouldn't try a pit maneuver. At the same time, he seems to be staying in a particular area. Is that right, Des? He's been on South Vermont Avenue in the Harbor Gateway area for a while. They could possibly maybe throw down a spike strip or something.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's done this U-turn, it's certainly a possibility that they could be thinking about using a spike strip. We've seen some of the lower speeds. I'm not sure if they're going to want to attempt a pit maneuver when he only has 3 tires. Unclear how the vehicle is going to react. And it's really crowded out here right now. We're still kind of at rush hour. You can see just how many civilians there are. He's been on streets that have a lot of parked cars on the side. And, of course, CHP wants to avoid spinning him into an innocent person's car and having to have them hassle with any of that. I mean, if this was a dangerous suspect, if this was somebody wanted for something extremely serious, they may be more willing to do that. But this, not that DUI isn't serious, but you would have to really be something major, I think, for them to want to take that risk. So we'll just have to see how this unfolds here now as we are crossing the 91 freeway, actually the 105 freeway, and he's might be getting back on right. This would be a nice area if they wanted to try a pit where there's nobody on this on-ramp.
There.
But you can see three CHP units here. And yeah, he's really close behind, almost looking like he wants to do a pit maneuver. But yeah, almost. But now that we're getting on the freeway, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you know what, Des? I'm just thinking, we have seen vehicles in the last week or so, like almost down to their bare bones, drive much further than we expect that they could, with their tires, in this case, completely gone. So I don't know. I mean, you wonder how far he can get on driving on the freeway with the car being in the condition that it is before he stops, even on its own, or before the car gives out. But again, don't want to second guess, because we've seen some unusual things happen here.
Yeah, we certainly have. I think we'll always remember the big rig pursuit there, the marathon that ended up going. Yeah, and they had spiked nearly all of the tires, and that big rig just kept going for several hours more. So, on three tires, it's definitely possible for this suspect to go on for quite some time, as long as the rim doesn't basically melt down just from the friction of the asphalt. That could take a really long time. We haven't even seen any sparks begin to fly yet. I think there's still a little bit of rubber on that rim. We saw a big chunk of it roll off when he took a turn down a residential street, but he still has maybe, you could say, 3 1/5 of a tire, perhaps. But the more he tries to turn, the harder it'll be. Obviously, a little bit more difficult to brake or accelerate, but he's on the non-volume side here as far as traffic goes. Westbound 105, all the traffic is headed eastbound in the evening right now, and it is pretty heavy through some of these interchanges and entrances and exits. But you see CHP here, they got the unit in the back. They're basically running an extended traffic brake and making sure that nobody passes this vehicle. Well, let's see if this is it. Now he's pulling all the way over to the right-hand shoulder, so this might be it here. And yeah, at a complete stop. Let's see if the door opens, if any hands come out, and hopefully that'll be the end of it.
That is so weird, that windshield. Can he even see out of the doggone thing? You know, driving?
I know it. Yeah, if he just had the you know, the recirculator button on too long maybe, and everything fogged up, and that might be, you know, why they were thinking, you know, maybe that was what made CHP, or rather a sheriff's deputy, suspicious in the first place. But here's the door opening, and we're seeing the suspect come out, and the hands up, so it looks like this is going to be it here. With the westbound 105 shut down. Yep. So we're just east of the 110 here on the westbound 105, and as long as they follow instructions here, that this is going to be over soon.
Yeah, pulling up a shirt showing doesn't have a weapon or concealing anything. Walking backwards. I still would like to know what's going on with that. Oh, go ahead, Des.
I was going to say, it's at least refreshing to see a suspect, you know, following all of the instructions here, not messing around, not pretending like they're confused. Just came right out, hands up, walked backwards, and they should be in handcuffs shortly, Pat.
And you know, my question, what's up with that windshield?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Who knows? Good German vehicle could have definitely had a malfunction there, or just had the recirculator button on. But I mean, I have to imagine the visibility was pretty low for this person that was driving pretty fast at times with only 3 tires. So, you know, at least this didn't end in a crash.
That's right. No one was injured, not even the driver. So we're going to call that a code 4. All right. Thanks so much, Des.
All right. You got it.
Okay. All right. Next here at 6 o'clock, masked and armed with hammers. Robbers hit a jewelry store full of customers. The terrifying smash and grab caught on camera. Plus, a vaccine mix-up. Children given double the dose by mistake.
And we are getting a look outside right now at downtown. Take a look at this. A little bit of cloud cover and temperatures 20 degrees cooler for some of us today. I'll have the details when we come back.
I'm Jim Hill. Coming up in sports, the Chargers are dealing with COVID issues involving Joey Bosa, and the Angels add a big name to their pitching staff. We'll tell you who it is when I come back in sports.
Water. In these uncertain times, it's so important. So is our community. And we're doing our part because we care deeply about both.
Hey, Matt, are we cleared to move on? Let's start heading to 605 and Imperial. It sounds like there might be another one starting. Simon Dev, Sky 5. Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Craig. That's not good. Hey, just checking we can clear from this scene. There might be another one working, CHP Santa Fe Springs Gold channel. Yes, sir, we'll head that way. Not sure if it's starting up or not, but I heard some chatter there. Oh, was he? I didn't hear him. I'm sorry, Desk. ETA is going to be probably about 5 minutes, I think. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Possibly, Craig. I'm trying to track this down. Another chase that might be brewing. Go ahead. Um, okay, sounds good. Thank you. We're close. Sorry, Craig. It's going to be Downey area. We're actually about a minute and a half, but I'm not sure if this is it. We're still trying to track it down. Okay, thank you. It is California Highway Patrol, Santa Fe Springs division. For some reason, it like went away from my scanners. I don't know if that's it. That might be it. Okay, it's over. One further up. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. What's that? Okay. Sure. What do you say? I'm sorry, can you repeat? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, yes, sir. We'll continue cruising. Thank you. Appreciate the help. Okay. Or the front and the tree. Okay. Ventura, pretty far north. Simon Des, Sky 5. On 26. They want us to go. They want us to go to that chase. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Out there. He's coming our way, though. That's the only thing, at 90 miles an hour. So we might, I don't know. We have 30 minutes of news at the county line. Hey, Matt, go ahead. Okay, fuel's going to be an issue for us. It's coming our way, but we may not be able to get to it or get back after we're done. We're standby. How much? Hey, Craig, we have a pursuit coming out of Ventura County. Still up there, but it's heading towards us. Fuel's an issue for us. We have about 30 minutes of usable fuel. But it's on the 126 eastbound. Yeah, that's true. Right. Uh, it's actually up LA County line is what they're crossing. Yeah. Yeah. So Matt, we might be able to intercept it. It's coming into towards the 5 up near Castaic. Okay, you wouldn't have happened to heard the one on it. I haven't heard the one on it. Southbound 5, that's good. Craig, it's CHP. We're not sure on the one. It might be for speed, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's in Castaic coming south on the 5 now, so we'll be able to intercept it. If it continues south 5, we'll be able to get it in about less than 10 minutes. If it about 10 minutes, yeah, I think so. With the speed of the vehicle coming 90 miles an hour down the 5, we should be able to intercept it by Newhall Pass. Yeah, he'll... Awesome, Matt. Thank you. Copy that. Yes, sir. Got it. And we're locked in. Do you know, did they happen to say where it started? Okay. Okay, no problem. Hey, Craig, we should be intercepting this pretty quick here. We should be seeing it coming over the pass in about a minute or a couple minutes. Center divider. Denali. Okay, we'll do. Any second, he should pop out. Yes, sir. Copy. Thank you, man. Where is it? Okay, Matt, copy that. I'm sorry, Joe, were you calling me? I was talking to Matt. Do you see it? Where is this? There it is. Let me slow down. All right, Craig, here it is. We got it. Right in the Newhall Pass. Domestic violence. Thank you. 50 away. Michael only, thank you. Are we alone, David? We should be able to make the end of the show. Oops. We should be able to make the show. Micah, this started in Ventura County. In fact, the CHP from Ventura was in pursuit of this black GMC Denali, wanted for domestic violence out of that area. It came eastbound on the 126 freeway, joined the 5 freeway southbound. Now CHP Newhall is taking over the pursuit here southbound out of the Newhall Pass, approaching the 210 freeway. The vehicle's been using the center divider and the shoulder to pass at high rates of speed. Right now you're looking at speeds of about almost 80 miles an hour as we continue southbound on the 5 freeway here. But again, the traffic here is a moderate traffic on the 5 heading south. Northbound is kind of heavy, but you see the night sunlight of the police helicopter lighting it up right now, and the driver refusing to yield to these officers. Again, the want is domestic violence, and it's a black GMC Denali that the CHP is pursuing right now. We don't know exactly how many people are on board the driver, but we see a hand sticking out of the sunroof there. We've heard that during this pursuit at times, the driver doing that. So again, refusing to pull over, failing to yield, and the want, again, domestic violence on this vehicle and this driver. It is moderate traffic. In fact, the CHP talking about trying to set up a spike strip up ahead. We won't give away the location, but it will be soon. We hear in the LAPD airship is assisting CHP with the night sunlight here overhead, keeping track of the pursuit. But again, CHP trying to do whatever they can to bring this to a stop, but the speed's very high here. And in fact, as you were mentioning, going through the Fillmore area, the driver was using every way around the traffic there. It was very tense times for those CHP officers as they were tracking this vehicle. So again, we heard that was happening on the 5 southbound as well, up in near Magic Mountain. But right now, the driver's maintaining that number 1 lane, and we'll see if they try to get that spike strip up ahead. Yeah, it'll be definitely difficult for the CHP to do a pit maneuver on this vehicle. In fact, probably not going to happen, especially at these speeds. And as far as the spike strip, that's really hit and miss here with all the traffic out here on the 5 freeway. We've just passed the 118 freeway, approaching the 175 split. So we'll see if the driver stays on the 5 or does the 170. But right now in this lane, he'll be committed to the 5. Micah, that's a really good point. You know, you're driving along, freeway speed 60, 65 miles an hour. Here comes a pursuit going, 80, 90 miles an hour. You don't see it coming. All of a sudden, you decide to get over or get off the freeway, and this guy rams right into you. So we've seen it happen so many times in other pursuits where the drivers ahead don't know what's coming. Good point, because look at what's happening here. We've committed to the southbound 5 from the 170, and drivers here moving, like I said, freeway speeds. This guy coming, he has slowed down a little bit because of, I'm looking out ahead, and it looks like traffic is still moderate through this area, but the driver deciding to slow down a little bit here through this stretch of road, but it could be because it's a kind of windy through this area here near Sun Valley. That's right, Micah. We're southbound 5 at Sunland, and continuing at the same rate of speed, about 80 miles an hour. You see the vehicles here. Let me come out to a wider shot so you can see what's ahead of the driver. And really, it's smooth sailing, like you said, all the way into that construction zone near the Burbank downtown area. And then we have the 134.
He attempted to pull her over, but she refused to yield. So officially this is just a failure to yield, but there's definitely something else going on underneath the surface. Unclear what all that is, but again, this started out of Ventura County. It came eastbound on the 126, southbound on the 5, and now here we are southbound on the 5 headed through Burbank. You see CHP, they're basically in complete control of this pursuit from the ground. I'm not sure whose helicopter that is overhead in the air, but that is LAPD's helicopter, actually. My pilot Ryan is letting me know. So you've got LAPD in the air, CHP on the ground, southbound side of the 5 in Burbank. Jeff and Susie.
Okay, we broke in just so we can bring this to you live. Once again, this is a driver wanted for failure to yield. Right. That is a black full-size GMC pickup truck. Desmond Shaw's overhead in Sky 9 as we continue to follow the very latest developments. Very high speeds. Susie, I saw this earlier. They were breaking almost 100 miles per hour. This on the 5 freeway. We have information that the driver is female, passenger female as well. And we're getting word tonight, Susie, that the husband called 911 to voice his concerns about his wife.
Yeah, and we don't know exactly what those concerns were, but apparently the CHP then tried to pull this woman over, and then it was a failure to yield, and that's when the chase started. And so here we are. Looks like they're stepping on their brakes a little bit, Desmond?
Slowing down.
Yeah. Slowing down quite a bit here. No damage to this vehicle that we're aware of, but we haven't heard about any really crazy speeds. Of course, now we're going under the speed limit. Here you can see hand waving out the window of the sunroof. We saw that earlier just as we got overhead. But a failure to yield. This is, despite the slower speeds, I don't think we're going to be seeing a pit maneuver. I can't imagine, you have one of these lower cruisers here. I believe those are well, actually, no, that's an SUV right there that's in pursuit, but hard to imagine them doing a pit maneuver on this truck. Certainly not going to do it on the freeway. Just a failure to yield. They might take this one a little bit more gingerly because of it sounds like the sensitive nature regarding this pursuit. This isn't, someone wanted for any sort of crime. It sounds like there was just some sort of safety concern or something going on between the husband and wife. And so as this stands right now, the only crime, I mean, it is still a crime just being a failure to yield, but nothing else more nefarious is believed to be involved in this. So we'll just have to see how CHP approaches this one as we're southbound on the 5, headed into downtown Burbank, and soon we'll be along the 134.
I certainly can understand why that husband had some sort of concern, because this is a situation where they obviously know that they're in some sort of a police chase at this point in time. We have 2 people inside this GMC Denali full-size pickup truck. Looks like it's got a lift kit as well, so it's a larger vehicle. This is going to be a female driver, female passenger. We have seen somebody through the moonroof kind of wave, and we don't know if they're waving to the helicopter. LAPD is overhead. CHP is on the ground. This is on the 5 freeway here coming up in Burbank. You see there, Golden State Freeway, the 5 is part of this police chase, going up to about 90 miles an hour. And of course, one of the concerns I have, Susie, is this vehicle, since it's lifted, it's large, high center of gravity, going speeds like that, if there's any sort of sharp turns as a result of maybe traffic, this thing could very easily roll over.
That's true. And as Desmond was talking about a pit maneuver on this thing, obviously we're going at high speeds on the freeway, so it's not going to happen now. But let's just say we get on the surface streets for just a minute, hypothetically speaking, it's going to be a tough one to even pit something like this because it's such a large truck.
Yeah, and that high center of gravity could really do some damage. If you really turn the wheel to the left or the right, it's going to be a really big rollover issue because it's so high. And it's starting to get into a little bit of traffic, but appears to be fairly aggressive. Now, is this just the shoulder, it appears? That's not an off-ramp on the left, is it, Des?
No, this is going to be the carpool lane, part of the fairly new carpool lane addition that they added on the southbound 5. It ends at the 134, though. There's traffic in the right-hand lanes kind of clogging up at the 134 interchange, so it looks like the suspect is trying to avoid that right now. But yeah, really high speeds. We were down to 40, and the speed just instantly doubled, and we even got touched 100 miles an hour there at one point. So just trying to evade the traffic in the right-hand lanes. as we are southbound on the 5. We can confirm that only one person is in the car, thanks to our assignment desk for getting that information. So just the female driver. And again, this is apparently, from what we've heard, the wife of someone that called CHP with some sort of concerns. Unclear what exactly those were. May have something to do with her safety, but they were able to locate her.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Desmond.
And,
how were they able to locate her so quickly?
Yeah, I'm guessing that the husband was aware of where she was going. You know, it's unclear if she was, leaving the house and then the husband called authorities, or if she was leaving work. But clearly he knew where she was or where she was going to be headed. And, this vehicle, this is a fairly unique as far as vehicles go anyway. I mean, you've got a big black lifted truck, a GMC, not like a little white Toyota Corolla, so probably fairly easy to pick out as well. I'm sure they had the license plate number from the husband, so once they had all that information, they were able to acquire her location pretty quickly. There you see the traffic towards the 134, but we're continuing here southbound 5, so now we're headed down towards downtown LA and the East LA interchange.
Yeah, a little uncertainty by the driver there. Seemed to kind of slow down a little bit to decide which way to go, and then punched it and went straight, as opposed to going to the right there where there's a little bit of traffic. But this is a rather large vehicle, and that makes me think, we saw that there was possibly 2 people in there, but now there's confirmation there's just one. And Susie, that means the driver is then waving through the moonroof, which was open at one point in time, and that is something that's kind of odd, I would think. Somebody would do that to a police helicopter, although we've seen that quite a bit in the past with other situations. And all we know at this point in time is this might have been a husband who was concerned for what we don't know, voicing his concerns to 911 dispatchers about his wife, and then that led to this interception by CHP of this truck you see here in Ventura County, but then that leads to failure to yield, and then that leads us to where we are now.
Yeah, the driver was kind of swerving all over the freeway just a minute ago and driving so fast, and earlier driving so much faster. It looks like she is picking up speed once again, but really right there, is that still the carpool? That's the shoulder, right, Desmond?
Yeah, that's the center divider there on the left. No carpool lane there, and that's where you're going to find quite a bit of debris and what have you. You saw a little bit of dust getting kicked up there. So yeah, kind of having some difficulty keeping the vehicle straight at this point. If they're distracted, who knows, going right by a motorcyclist there at full speed. I mean, it's not uncommon to see these pursuit suspects, frantically doing something on their phone or whatever, and you hate to see that when you're talking about these, high freeway speeds. But here we go, hitting a little bit of congestion now on the southbound 5 as we approach Los Feliz. Not too uncommon at this time of the day, and it is going to be kind of slow and go from this point. It looks like down through Dodger Stadium down to about the 110, and then may loosen up a little bit as we hit the Eastdale interchange. So we'll see what happens here as we get into some heavier traffic.
Yeah, we were going so fast just a minute ago, and I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, if we're close to this Los Feliz Boulevard exit, I know that there's always, no matter what time of day it is, pretty much you're going to face some traffic there headed into that East LA area, and it looks like they're slowing down once again.
You just wonder if the husband was in communication with her and that led to calling police, but so you would think that there would be a way that officers could use the husband who has concern for his wife who's behind the wheel of this truck, wanted for failure to yield, if they could use him to maybe talk her down or maybe pull over. We've seen that in the past, that they were able to use those methods of communication with the loved one to try to stop this pursuit. No evidence of that as she once again punches it and kind of goes forward here on the 5. And this is kind of the behavior that we've seen. This larger truck and the female driver slows down a bit, maybe trying to figure out what to do, and then all of a sudden, Susie, just kind of hits the gas.
Yeah, we've seen it before. You think maybe they're going to pull over as they're slowing down, but then again, you see them going at freeway speeds, at high rates of speed. But it looks like some of the traffic here is now slowing her down, but she's trying to get around that, going a little bit on the shoulder there, getting around that car, at least one car there, going around another one right there, and just really getting close to other cars too, Desmond.
Yeah, all over the place now, southbound on the 5. Crossing Los Feliz, I believe, right now. That's, I believe, it right there in the shot. You can see that spotlight, LAPD lending their helicopter right now. We were trying to get a peek inside. Still a little bit dark inside of the driver's window, but while we have this perspective, see if we can, yeah, look at her reaching around. You can see her clearly reaching around. This is kind of the frantic behavior a lot of times we see in these pursuits, a lot of reaching around, a lot of maybe fumbling with the cell phone. So clearly distracted, not paying attention, going pretty fast and having trouble even, staying in just one lane. And we are in some fairly congested traffic here, but it's just who knows how this one is going to end. Hopefully she's just going to pull over at some point. And of course, you always wonder how much gas is in the tank. It's not a very fuel efficient vehicle, but these trucks have huge gas tanks.
Yeah.
I know they can go up to 500 miles on a full tank, but when you're slowing down and punching it like that, definitely got to guzzle the gas pretty quickly. But look at this, getting on the right-hand shoulder, get around traffic, just kind of whatever it takes to try to get a little bit of distance. Really close to that vehicle.
That's a large vehicle.
Almost traded paint, as you say there, Jeff.
Yeah, and you really worry about the size
really
of that vehicle, the momentum behind it. If it hits a smaller sedan, the damage to the people inside of that. This is a very dangerous situation. The driver's on the left-hand shoulder here, going pretty fast speeds on these freeway speeds here, getting pretty close to other vehicles.
Yeah, just barely making it past some vehicles.
And nothing in the bed of this truck. It looks like a crew cab, extended crew cab. This is going to be a GMC pickup truck full size with a lift kit. So it's raised off the ground quite a bit, but there would be no opportunity really to do a pit maneuver here on the highway because we're up to highway speeds. That's dangerous. And also you have to kind of have a vehicle, I would think, that might be able to match that, maybe one of the CHP's SUVs possibly. But other than that, this is something that I would think with the large tires there, Susie, this would be a pretty good target for a spike strip at some point in time. We have seen that in circumstances on the highway and on the freeway, just to slow things like this down. And if they have the opportunity to do so, they certainly will. So that Night Sun is going to be from LAPD, and the chopper overhead, CHP, is on the ground.
We're talking about spike strips and how we have seen them actually do them on the freeway, but they really have to have the space to do it. Right now with traffic like this, highly unlikely that they're going to try it. They're going to need space not only for the officers to actually throw them out and then, hide and get somewhere where they're out of danger. And then also, obviously, for the safety of drivers around this car, they're not going to do something like that. So this is going to be an interesting situation, with how this is going to come to an end. But we do know that there is something going on with the driver of this big truck, and that is the reason why the husband of this woman actually contacted CHP to say, I have concerns about her. We don't know exactly what those concerns are, but then the CHP tried to pull her over when they located her after her husband, as we were speculating, perhaps told the CHP where she is or how to get to her, and she did not pull over. So this is where we are now.
And that's a pretty conspicuous vehicle, so you understand why CHP was able to intercept this full-size pickup truck. It appears to be a black pickup, a GMC. And the husband was able to give the police a description of the vehicle, and that was probably easy to spot. This all started down in Ventura County. And now we're in Los Angeles at the 5 and Elysian Park. And you see that area here in your upper right-hand part of your screen, going to be 84, 85. I've seen it get almost up to 100 miles an hour, Susie. But now on the left-hand part of the roadway there, in what would be the HOV lanes, if they are present there. But let's go back up to Desmond Shaw on Sky 9. Des, from your vantage point, what's the latest?
Well, haven't heard anything about any spike strips being in the near future here. When you see this driver get over towards the center divider, which is, in theory where CHP would kind of camp out and wait to throw out that spike strip, that's going to make them pretty nervous when they see just how, if without any thought, this driver doing that. So we'll see if they deliberate using a spike strip, but we got pretty high speeds as well. Of course, the last time we saw the spike strips on the freeway was with that semi a couple of weeks ago, and that was a pretty easy one for CHP, and we saw him do it repeatedly, even though it didn't bring the pursuit to a timely end. It was, safer on the right side of the freeway with lower speeds. You're talking about high speeds, left side of the freeway, kind of very erratic driving, so not suspecting that there will be spike strips at least anytime soon. Maybe if things begin to calm down. We do know that CHP's helicopter is taking over, relieving LAPD. I think that may be the third helicopter that's now been on this pursuit, if there was one in Ventura County. Actually, Ryan's correcting me saying that this is the second one. So it was all on the ground in Ventura County on Highway 126. Not sure where in Ventura County this originated. May have been close. Oh no! Oh no! Just slammed right into the back of that semi out of nothing. Oh, at nearly full speed. I'm not sure just exactly how fast she was going there, but that was a horrible ending. We were talking about how distracted the driver was and just slammed right into the back of that big rig at really high speeds. Not how we wanted to see this pursuit end, but it has come to an end southbound side of the 5 near the Main Street exit, Jeff and Susie.
Okay, that's obviously a bad situation for the driver. You can see the front of this truck has been smashed all the way back. Police are going to have to get in there and see what emergency that they can do when it comes to medical. Susie, you might see that this could certainly be a very, very violent situation.
Sure, and we don't know what kind of condition she was in when she was actually driving the vehicle, so that's also certainly a concern. If her husband was concerned about her for whatever reason, that could have contributed, I mean, who knows, to this accident. We don't know, but as Desmond and Jeff were just talking about, we just watched here live here on KCAL 9 and CBS in LA. We're talking about a driver who was being pursued by the CHP. They actually crashed just now into a big rig, which I'm sure right there on the right side of your screen is what we're showing you. And they kind of did an almost flip to that the shoulder there, and kind of slammed into the shoulder, and that's where the truck came to a stop. What's going on now, Desmond? Are CHP officers trying to surround this truck now? What's happening?
Well, this is really tough, a tough situation for them, because this is a suspect. You can see, they're out here with weapons drawn, but this person could be seriously injured. I mean, we believe that the truck hit the back of that big rig at about 85 miles an hour. We're not sure how fast that semi was going. The semi was probably going 55 or 60 in the right-hand lanes, and it wasn't even clear what she was trying to do there to get around. It just right square into the back of that semi, but you could see the impact, just how smashed in this truck is. Of course, this is a big, heavy-duty vehicle. It's got fantastic safety systems, I'm sure. Modern vehicles are very, very well equipped, but you see another officer back over here. This is a really tough situation, because they're going to want to get in and administer help if she needs it, but but this is also a suspect at the same time. So obviously, ideally, you would hope that she's just shaken up and she's able to get out on her own, but it's anyone's guess if she's even able to do that.
Well, and she could be trapped in there as well. We don't see any signs of life at this point in time, because we don't see any windows down. She could be trapped in there. You could take a look at the entire front end of this full-size pickup truck, and the impact on the back of that semi-tractor trailer has pushed that front end all the way to the firewall, if you will. These vehicles are extremely safe. There's all kinds of airbags and safety procedures in these vehicles, but of course this person could be stuck in there, and they could be trapped in there, Susie. We're seeing a lot of smoke coming from the engine as well. There's all kinds of situations that could be going on. Yeah, and police have got to go in there and decide what they need to do. There's probably some medical attention that needs to be given to her, but at the same time, this is a suspect, so they don't know exactly who they're dealing with.
They don't know if she's armed, if she is, well enough to get out of this car. She could be armed, and that's certainly going to pose a danger to these officers here who are, at the ready with their guns drawn right now. At this truck, not knowing what kind of condition this woman is. I'm sure they've called for help now, and as soon as the paramedics arrive, I'm sure that we'll have a better idea of what's happening here. But for now, we have no idea what's happening inside this car, what has transpired. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see these are first responders, CHP. They are trained in medical as well. They have the ability to, triage people at these locations. And I just don't know if they're able to get in there, break the glass, and see what's going on. I don't know the protocol with this. We don't really know the reason behind this pursuit, other than the husband called 911, voicing his concerns for his wife, pointing out the vehicle and the general direction that she would be traveling. And that's when CHP got involved in Highway 126 in Ventura County. And it ends here on the 5 freeway in Los Angeles. And I'm not surprised that this happened, Susie. The driver was weaving in and out of traffic. A lot of distracted driving, it appears. There kind
was
of all over the place.
All over the place. It appeared that the driver was slowing down, then speeding up, and was going erratic driving to the left at high speeds, almost hitting vehicles. And this is a rather large vehicle. Once you get the speed up and the momentum, it's really hard once you put on the brakes to stop. And I don't know that I even saw her put on the brakes before she hit the back of that trailer. So let's go back up to Des. Des, did you see that there was any attempt at all for the driver to try to stop before hitting that trailer?
No, well, I mean, it was just like it almost seemed like she just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
She just had her foot on the gas. And we saw the driver fiddling around, reaching for something. It looked like under the seat, maybe messing with the cell phone or something. And we know how dangerous distracted driving is in Los Angeles. And we also saw her, weaving in and out of lanes. And that's just what it looked like to me. Perhaps she just wasn't paying attention.
So, Des, I just want to
really
interrupt you here real quick
ahead,
with
Jeff.
some breaking news real quick. The reason why CHP is not approaching this vehicle, this is from our assignment desk, they are not going to approach the vehicle until they can get the units in position to stop the other side of the freeway. It's just too dangerous for them to approach that vehicle. It's too dangerous for those officers with the other side of the freeway going at highway speeds, even though you see those vehicles have slowed down. That's going to be the protocol until they get units in place on the other side of the freeway and block traffic. That's when they will then go to that pickup to see if the driver is okay.
Yeah, and you can see the other side of the freeway that you were just talking about, Jeff. It is filled with drivers, and they're certainly going to take a glance over at what is smoking and what has happened on the other side of the freeway. So certainly they want to take those safety protocols seriously and make sure they do that. I'm sure in the meantime, though, CHP officers are probably, yelling those orders to get out of the car, just in case they don't know whether or not she can move or not. We have no idea the condition of this woman, the driver of this car that was being pursued. We have no idea right now, but obviously CHP officers, they want to get to the bottom of this. If she needs medical aid, they certainly want to administer that to her, but obviously they can't until, as you said, Jeff, they get the other side of the freeway handled first to make sure everyone is out of potential harm's way.
Yeah, safety is first. Let's go back to this inset box we're going to have from my director. Understand that we can see she's going to tap the brakes, but really with not a whole lot of time. She hit that almost at full impact, unfortunately. We were trying to think if she actually hit the brakes, and my director thinks that she might have just tapped on the brakes. I would have to concur with that. It doesn't appear that she slowed down at all when she hit the back of that semi. A very unfortunate situation. This pursuit ends in a crash. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw. Des, do you see any units heading on the other side? And by the way, this is southbound, so the other side would be northbound, correct?
Yeah, so southbound near Main Street is where we are. I'm just looking at all the northbound traffic. I do see a unit about maybe a half a mile back that is forcing traffic off of the actually forcing traffic onto the eastbound 10, but there's still a huge backup here to clear out. If they're gonna wait until all this traffic clears out, it could be another 5 minutes if that is what the protocol is going to be. I mean, of course, it does make sense for CHP has to be aware of their safety as well, and you don't want to have officers walking around. I can tell you right now that folks on the northbound side are extremely distracted by this as well. We've all seen it so many times. When someone crashes on the opposite side of a freeway, that other side, everyone has to slow down and take a look, and so everyone is taking a look at that. It's just so hard thinking about that this woman might be seriously injured inside, and there's basically nothing they can do until all of this traffic clears out, just so that CHP can be safe as well. Obviously, we're hoping that she's just shaken up and not wanting to surrender, and that she's not, trapped in the vehicle in serious pain right now. But there's going to be a long, if that's what we're waiting for, it's going to be a long lag time here. Just widen out and show you some of the traffic. You see that semi right there to the bottom. Actually, that's not the semi that was involved. The semi that was involved did make it off the freeway. I was concerned for them as well. You can imagine that semi having someone come, ram them at, with a 30 or 40 mile an hour difference there. But it seems that driver was able to safely pull over onto the shoulder, southbound 5, closer to the 10 freeway. I think there's actually 2 semis. So at the very least, this didn't cause a chain reaction crash, because that could have very easily happened, and we could have had a lot of innocent people hurt in this.
We're gonna let you go. We're gonna wrap up here, Susie. I have a little bit more information before we take a break here. I just want to say, however, it doesn't appear that they see any movement in the cabin of this truck at this time.
Well, speaking of movement, it looks like the CHP patrol car is getting a little closer with the officers, guns drawn. stacked up behind each other, and looks like they're going to be approaching that vehicle to make sure that that woman is okay, or to try to figure out what they're going to do next, because they have no idea what's going on inside this car right now, whether this woman is incapacitated, unconscious, or conscious and just kind of sitting there in shock. It looks like they are going to make entry into it, but we want to invite you to join us shortly for KCAL 9 News at 8. We're going to have an update on this breaking news when a CHP pursuit ends in a terrible crash.
And now to a nightmare for this Field of Dreams in the South Bay. Some youth sports teams could see their rent go up by more than 1,300%. Welcome back to CBS 2 News at 5. I'm Jeff Vaughn.
And I'm Pat Harvey. Youth leagues use 2 ball fields on Navy land in the South Bay, and now they could be forced to leave.
It comes as a new Department of Defense policy is set to take effect, asking for fair market value for that rent. The fields, which include a baseball and softball field, sit on Gaffey Street near Anaheim.
I mean, it's a GMC Sierra Denali, an upgraded truck all the way around. No matter how you slice it, certainly a rough and tumble vehicle taking quite a beating as she came up right into the rear of that tractor trailer, which obviously is also raised as well. It almost seemed like the tail of that truck was almost eye level with the with maybe the top of that hood. In any event, you can clearly see that driver suffering some major injuries, and now all lanes of the 5 freeway, both northbound and southbound, completely shut down. Here comes LA City Fire, finally able to get into position here. They're coming up, I think that's Glendale Boulevard. Not sure about that actually, but they are coming up on that exit ramp. They'll be approaching here any second. Here's another fire truck coming from the opposite direction.
It looks like they're doing a heart massage on her. This is not good.
Okay, it looks like CPR is in progress.
Yeah, this is not good. This is a pretty devastating accident that we're witnessing. So maybe it's a good thing that they were able to move in sooner than later, but these are some massive injuries that she clearly has suffered, and so we need to get, hopefully, medical help to her as quickly as possible.
I know you see the firefighters right up there, but again, they have this big traffic stop and the traffic break, and all the traffic is trying to get out of their way. But boy, it makes for your heart goes out for this woman. We don't exactly know what we just know is a domestic dispute. Correct, Chris?
Yeah.
Right, and this is related to a domestic case out of Santa Barbara. Whether she is the suspect or perhaps even the victim, we have no idea. It's just too early to say, but certainly we can say that this was related to a domestic violence investigation in Santa Barbara. Somehow Ventura County's CHP office tracking the vehicle down and initiating the pursuit over in Ventura County. Again, this has been going on it started almost an hour ago at least, maybe a little more than that at this point, where she finally made her way through the Simi Valley, through the San Fernando Valley, and then ending up here in Elysian Park, which is where we've come to a crash end here.
Yeah, that is so shocking to see that accident, and it just seemed to come out of nowhere while we were following this pursuit, and the person who was driving the vehicle seemed to be going sometimes slower, sometimes speeding up, but not dramatically. And then all of a sudden just smash dead center in the middle of that semi-truck. I still wonder if this might have been intentional as you watch it. It just, the acceleration right there, right into the back of the truck, I don't know.
I don't know. It's very hard to tell. Stay with us. We're going to continue to follow this breaking news after the break. We'll be right back. Your heart's...
Good call. Would you go with Elysian Park here, Christina, or Lincoln Park?
All right, welcome back. We're going to talk about our AccuWeather forecast because certainly fall is now back. Danny Romero, you're tracking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just feeling like fall in the air finally. And a great shot, give you an idea. A little sunset action, clouds. That's what brought some of that cooling to Southern California today. And you can see them there hiding out over the mountaintops and going beautiful colors in the sky. We check in now live into Palmdale, 62 degrees. So the high desert certainly cooling down. How about down to the happiest place on earth, Disneyland? Oh, man. All lit up so nicely for the holiday, 59 degrees. So, yeah, there's a chill in the air there along with the look of it. And then for the clouds over downtown right now, 57 degrees. Today, topped off at 67. But that's well below the average of 73. So we're now below average. We were a few days way above. We had a ridge of high pressure that dominated us for a while. Now it's the other side around. We're now going a little low pressure, and that's keeping temperatures cool, keeping clouds in the area. There you go, tracking through today. But looking ahead now, we're going to stay in this same pattern. There's the trough. There are the clouds coming through. Now
To bring the green back to regions scorched by wildfire.
Is it? The 110 freeway is a little north of here. Will do. Okay, we're good with our shots, Sarah. Thank you.
Film in Los Angeles.